Just welcoming you to my new segment, Coffee Chats, where I like the coffee strong and the conversations deep. This is my first episode interviewing Mishan. We met on Instagram after she tagged me in one of my poetry pieces. So she lives on my street. And she didn't know this interview was actually happening. I just brought my camera along and she was like, "Oh, are you shooting today?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm interviewing you." What would you do if I just pulled the camera on you and said I'm interviewing you? Let me know. Anyway, I think the conversation went pretty well. She shared some insightful stuff and she is a beautiful soul. Please check out her Instagram below and also let me know what you think about this kind of segment, if it's interesting. And I'm trying to figure out if I should be in the shot or not. Tell me what you think about that. In this case, I just thought Mishan should be in the shot without me because, I didn't want to distract you guys with my beauty. Anyway, I had fun doing it. Enjoy the segment. So this morning, we're going to meet up for coffee.
Yeah.
And then when you arrive and I tell you, I'm going to record you today. What was the first thing that went through your mind when I was like, I'm interviewing you? What was your first thought?
I firstly thought, I was like, oh shit, I'm not prepared for this.
Yep.
Like, I'm not like fully makeup and stuff.
Yep.
But then I realized it's all about living in the present, isn't it?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
I almost like caught my thoughts.
Yep.
My first thought is like, oh, I'm not good enough.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to be presentable for the interview or on camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. See, I'm a man, so me looking in the mirror is me going downstairs, walking through the foyer of the apartment, and actually looking in the mirror before I go out and going, that's the first time I've looked in the mirror this morning. And I often hear from female friends a lot of the times that I need to be presentable, or immediately running to that thought of how do I look in this moment, and that's always struck me as something that's drastically unfair. Is there anything you can say to that as to the experience of being a woman and the pressures of looking a certain way? Yeah,
for female there's a higher standard, isn't it? It's more like everything you gotta look to the perfection, almost like you gotta be presentable for the world, and there's always certain way we need to act, we need to behave. And there's a lot of social circumstance or like cultural background, per se. Like different upbringing, I guess, especially for me, growing up in the Asian family. There is a lot of programming being forced onto how a woman should behave.
Could you share some of those programs or beliefs that were given to you, presented to you?
For me, it's like I brought up, my grandparents brought me up. And she's a housewife. So her job is just purely making sure the household get tidied up and cooking for the family. And then there's not much sense of self in her role. It's more like providing for the family in action of active service. That's what I believe. That's what love, like you need to serve your man.
Like a woman's duties.
Like the fundamental base of that.
Like a woman exists in the family unit to serve the man, who's the breadwinner. A very traditional kind of viewpoint. And even in Australian culture, I find that as well. My own parents, for example, my mum, when I was young, she worked from home doing childcare and she would do the home duties, the cooking, the cleaning, and dad would, and now it's good to see families who have children would have a conversation around that and say, which one of us wants to go to work, which one of us wants to be the homemaker. When did you start to kind of form your own ideas around what it means to be a woman and your role in society? When did that start for you?
I think probably around late 20s, I would say.
Yeah.
I can able to really break through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, everyone who's watching this is being like, she's older than 21.
Yeah.
I remember the first time when we met, I thought, when you said it was your birthday, I thought, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to tell you that I'm probably like a decade older than you.
Yeah.
And then I found out we're the same age, so you're doing something, right? But so it was around your late 20s. And what channeled or what instigated that process in you being like, no, this is what I want to do. This is my role in society. How did that come about?
I felt like the biggest thing for me was I was living on other people's expectation, especially my parents' expectation. It's almost like the way how they brought me up is like, oh, we really care and love about you. So that's a life we planned out for you.
Yeah.
Just follow our directions, go to this school, go out, hang out with certain people, marry someone we enjoy as well, find a secure job. And then I feel like almost lost that ability to think for myself and then reflect on who I really are and what I really wanted in life. Yeah.
And what changes did you make upon having that realization?
So actually, I was actually divorced. I'm actually divorced.
Yep.
So after the end of that relationship, I just felt like I did love him in the marriage or in that relationship, but is that actually me?
Wow.
Yeah. Was it? I married him because the pressure of coming from the parents.
Yeah.
Is it, am I on the timeline of my parents' timeline? I'm over 30, like am I need to have a stuck in a long-term relationship if I'm not happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the sake of it. I'm this good woman or...
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did it feel once you made that decision and you'd feel like you'd taken steps to walk away from, kind of act on your own accord and make your own decisions? What was that like?
I felt such a relief, and also at the same time a lot of that pressure I have been really putting on myself, because I remember the conversation I had with my dad that's already made after I made the decision, decided to end the marriage. I rang him up because that's the only thing that was holding me back to making that decision.
Your parents?
My parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How they're gonna perceive my decision and how they're gonna tell the family and all that outside pressure.
How did that conversation go?
Really well. It was surprising.
Wow. Yeah.
I rang him and he was like, if that's your decision, we respect it.
Wow.
And we just want you, ultimately, we just want you to be happy.
Wow.
It was like such a weight lifted off my shoulder. And then I was like, okay, so I've been putting all this pressure on myself. I haven't been able to be honest with myself, first of all, and then be honest with my parents. But if I know whatever I do, I'm loved.
Wow.
Right? Whether or not I'm married or divorced, there's not going to be less love from my parents.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And from there, I think the biggest realization I had was they don't judge me. My parents do not judge me.
As in, the love is unconditional.
I truly felt that.
Wow.
That's the first moment.
Personally, being of like having Asian parents myself, I feel we grow up and there is a lot of like they want you to do this and they want this condition and this and this, but often it's because they believe that's where happiness lies.
Yeah.
And it sounds like with your parents, that everything that they'd said to you was because they believed that was the path to happiness. But when you turned around and said, hey, this isn't actually the way there for me, they were like, well, that's okay, because you'll get there how you want to get there, but we just want you to be happy, which is beautiful. Before we wrap up, what would you say to someone who is in a situation where they feel they have pressure on themselves and they're not being truly themselves, be it in a job or a relationship or some sort of situation that they need to change, but they're having trouble? What would you kind of say to someone? Advice or
changing their life?
Someone who's in a situation where it's not on their terms and they're basically living their way for other people, not themselves. What would you kind of say?
I think first of all, when sometimes we setting a goal or trying to achieve something, I think first of all we need to ask ourselves whose goal it is. Like, if we want to find a better job, is it the society trying to label those job titles to be? So if you have the good job, is it mean you have more self-esteem? Is it actually something you wanted to do, or is it something your ego trying to push you towards that direction? And then I think second of all, just be really, really honest to yourself, because deep down you do know what you want. And I think lastly, just get out our heads more often. Like, really feel what you feel in your body.
Beautiful.
At the moment.
Great. I think we might wrap it up. How did it feel to be the first interview guest for my new segment, Coffee with Boy Under the Bridge? Good? Yeah, definitely. I think you did a great job. I was gonna actually interview you and ask you about what you do for fitness and everything like that, but obviously there's a lot more we can do another time. But thank you for taking part in this. Thanks. And I'll include all your bio and links, because I think you create some really wholesome kind of content through your platform. So you can give a wave to the camera if you want.
Check me out on Instagram. See you guys.